So PayPal now the latest company to announce some job cuts. Kate Rooney has this breaking news. Kate.
Hi, Tyler. So PayPal is laying off about 2,000 full-time employees. That amounts to about 7% of its total workforce. Dan Schulman, the CEO, talking about this in a blog post just now. He really boiled it down to cost cutting. He talked about the macro environment as well. He says here, while we have made substantial progress in right-sizing our cost structure and focused on our resources and our core strategic priorities, he says we still have more work to do. He says we must continue to change as our world, our customers, and our competitive landscape changes as well and evolves. He did say that some parts of PayPal will be impacted more than others. He said we'll find out more about which business units this is going to look at. But it all comes down to cost cutting. As he mentioned, Dan Schulman, the CEO, they talked about back in August targeting at least $1.3 billion in cost savings. This likely a part of that. And it joins a host of other technology, e-commerce companies that have announced pretty similar layoffs in the recent months. We've had Amazon, Shopify, Stripe, all in that arena. But the latest sign of really belt tightening that we're seeing in Silicon Valley and some of the fintech names. Back to you.
Kate, I'm always curious with some of these layoffs, which are the ones that are undoing hiring of the past couple of years? And in which cases are we more kind of cutting back on even the normal size of the company? Do we know, were they big? Did they add a lot to headcount recently during the expansion, during the sort of stimulus boom?
So we don't have a percentage in terms of what they did on the hiring front, but it's been interesting to see some of the tech companies, that doubled, for example. I don't think PayPal is in that arena where they hired to that extent, but there was this pull forward effect with e-commerce in general, where companies really grew at all costs and felt like they needed to hire to keep up there. We don't have the numbers right in front of us. He doesn't mention it here, but in some cases it is absolutely a matter of right sizing and getting back to pre-pandemic levels. And then I think in the case of PayPal, they also have an activist in their stock at this point. Elliott took about a $2 billion stake, so they're adding some pressure for the cost cutting. That really boils down to them just getting back to better margins and really belt tightening at the end of the day.
Great point. And PayPal shares, we should add, are up about 2%. There's been mixed reactions. Sometimes we see rallies, sometimes declines. Investors more worried about the fundamentals. But here, at least for today, this one graded as somewhat of a positive.